Hey guys, welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about the 2024 Psychiatry Program Director Survey results, and I'm Vlad with Psych Squared. So first off, what is the 2024 Program Director Survey? It's a biennial survey by the NRMP that's sent out to program directors, and these surveys are used to get a criteria of what program directors use to select applicants for interviews, and also what they use to rank applicants for the main residency match. Some of the main areas that they try to ask about are the overall review, selection, and ranking behaviors, the medical licensure exam results for interview selection, and some of the important factors that they consider for interviews and ranking selections. So they sent out this survey to all the psychiatry residency programs. So there's about 382. They received responses from 73 program directors. So the response rate was around 19.1%. So this first section talks about the average number of applications that program directors reported receiving, the number of interview invitations they sent out, the number of interviews they had, and the number of applicants that they ended up ranking. So we'll break down these numbers in the next slide. So on average, program directors were receiving 864 applications per program. So you can see this is a very large amount of applications that they receive, and they can't realistically go through all these applications. So right off the bat, they reported screening out on average 304 applications. So the screening out is done through the portal where they receive the applications, and they can have certain filters that they use to screen out this large number of applications to get it to a more manageable number for them. So this can be different filters such as target step two scores. They can be filters based on regions where applicants are from or have strong connections to. So every program's filters that they use will be different. But it seems that on average, they were all program directors were trying to get those numbers reduced to a more manageable number. And then on average, the number of applications that received a holistic review was 460. And programs reported sending interview invitations on average to 92 applicants, and they ended up ranking on average 73 applicants. So just kind of numbers based, 35% of applications are being screened out right off the bat. And then 53% of applications are being reviewed a lot more closely. And of those applications that are being reviewed more closely, 20% of them received an interview. So this next section talks about the percentages of programs interviewing candidates by the specific applicant type. So from those numbers, you can see that a majority of program directors are considering MD, MS4s for interviews. For DO MS4s, they're being considered for interviews by 72% of programs. 22% of program directors said that they seldom consider DO applicants. For DO and MD graduates, so these are DO or MDs that have already graduated their medical schools, they were considered for interviews only 27 to 32% of the time, or were reported by 27 to 32% of program directors. 61% of programs said that they seldom considered MD graduates, and 7% said they didn't consider them at all. For DO graduates, 48% of programs said that they seldom considered them, and 25% said that they did not consider them at all. And for US IMGs, they were considered for interviews by 35% of programs. 45% of programs said they seldom considered US IMGs, and 20% said they didn't consider them at all. For non-US IMGs, they were considered for interviews by 16% of programs, and 52% of programs said they seldom considered US IMGs, and 32% said they did not consider non-US IMGs. And this bottom part right here should say non-US IMGs. So for percentages of programs using the USMLE to select USMD and IMG applicants for interviews, you can kind of see the breakdown of what program directors said that they required for the different step 1, 2, and 3 exams. So you can see they're kind of broken down between if they required a pass, if they required a target score as well, or they weren't really considered at all by program directors. So keep in mind, this is for USMD and IMG applicants only. So for step 1, almost all programs required a step 1 pass. For step 2, 36 to 41% of programs only required a step 2 passing score. 32% of programs required a target score for USMD applicants, and 44% of programs required a target score for IMGs. For step 3, and this mostly applies for IMGs, 10% of programs required a step 3 score, and 5% required a target score. 40% preferred a step 3 score but did not require it, and 45% of programs did not require a step 3 score. Now, these next couple of sections are going to be important for DO applicants. There's usually a very large question amongst DO applicants on whether they need to take just the COMLEX level exams or both the STEP and COMLEX. So this will kind of break down what program directors said in terms of if they require only one of them or they require both of them. So this is the response rates for the Step 1 and Level 1 complex exams. And here we have the breakdown for the Step 2 and Complex Level 2 exams. And we'll talk a little bit about the breakdown because there's a lot of kind of different responses going on here. So the important numbers to keep in mind is that in terms of Step 1 and Complex Level 1, 67% of programs said that they required a pass from both of these exams when considering DO applicants. And for Step 2 slash Complex Level 2, for these specific exams, 25% of programs said that they required a path for both. 18% of programs required a target score for both, and 12% preferred scores for both, and 8% required only a complex pass only, and 8% required a complex target score. So from these numbers, you can see a little over 1/3 of programs were requiring either a pass or a target score, but at least having the applicants having sat for Step 2, both Step 2 and Complex Level 2. So hopefully this helps you to decide if that's kind of the route you want to take. You can see that about 1/3 of programs do require that that you at least sit for the exam, and some of them even require a specific target score to be considered for an interview. So here we have the percentages of programs that are ranking candidates by applicant type. So this is now the applicants that have interviewed with the program, and now the program is deciding if they're going to rank the applicant and where they're going to rank the applicant, kind of their rank list that they're going to submit to the NRMP for the match. And so you can see that breakdown is kind of similar to the one that we had seen earlier for the kind of percentage breakdown for the applicant types for the applicants that they consider for interviews. So it's kind of a similar breakdown. So here you can see again that majority of PDs rank the MD MS4s that they interview. For DO MS4s, 77% of programs rank the DO applicants that they interview. 16% of PDs that they seldom rank the DO applicants, and 7% said they don't rank at all. DO and MD graduates only were ranked 28 to 34% by 28 to 34% of programs, and 55% of programs said they seldom ranked MD graduates, 7% didn't consider them at all, 43% of programs seldom ranked DO graduates, and 25% did not consider them at all. For USIMGs, they were ranked by 36% of programs. 36% of programs said they seldom ranked USIMGs, and 27% said they did not rank USIMGs. And for non-USIMGs, they were ranked by 13% of programs, and 45% of programs seldom ranked non-USIMGs. And this is kind of similar to the other one, this should say non-USIMGs. And 42% said they did not rank non-USIMGs. So for this next section, we have the important factors that program directors consider when deciding who they're going to interview. So you can see that there's all these different areas on the left of things that they consider important when deciding who to interview. And you can see on the right side, they kind of give it a meet importance rating of 1 to 5. So the factors were given a rating of 1 to 5, with 1 being the least and 5 being the most important. So when you look at the breakdown, you can see that the top 2 factors that most program directors rate highly when deciding who to consider for an interview. So the top 2 things they consider highly were the MISP or Dean's letter that applicants had, and these are the parts of the application that will show the different comments that you had on your different rotations. And the second thing that they rated very highly was the quality of the letter of recommendation that came from different psychiatrists. So you can see these are top 2 things that almost all program directors are rating highly when deciding who to interview. And for the top 2 factors that half of the program directors rated highly, the first one was the ability to work legally in the US without a visa. And the second was the accreditation status of applicants' medical school. So now this is kind of the same type of of breakdown, but this is for now the applicants have been interviewed, and these are the factors that they're considering when ranking applicants, or whether they're going to rank the applicant or not, and where they're going to rank the applicant in their list that they're going to submit to the NRMP for the match. And so you can see that these are the different things that the program directors are rating highly. So same as the last graph, the one is the least important, five being the most important. So the top four factors that almost all PDs rated highly was the quality of interpersonal skills that the applicant had during the interview, the applicant's interactions with faculty and house staff during the visit, and feedback from current residents from the program as well. And the top five factors that half of program directors rated highly was if the applicant had a continuous medical education without any gaps, the missed dean's letters, this is where you have your rotation comments. This would, as you can see, was rated very highly at the start when being considered for an interview. And it's kind of high rating, goes a little bit, has less of a weight once the applicant has already been interviewed and is being considered for ranks. And then some of the other things that were considered as top factors for half of PDs was the psychiatry clerkship grade that the applicant received, their class ranking or quartile, if that information is available, because I know some medical schools don't have ranking or quartiles, and also the overall clerkship grades that applicants receive. So in conclusion, hopefully this helps to provide a clear picture of the program director perspective when looking at applicants' applications, and hopefully you can see how different applicant types are considered by programs. And hopefully this also helped you see the important factors that program directors consider when choosing to interview applicants and ultimately to rank them as well. So just some last minute important workshops that are going to be upcoming. So the 2024 charting outcomes is planned to be released the week of August 26th. So keep a lookout for that. We're going to be doing a presentation to follow shortly after. And then in September, we're going to be doing our part two of our workshop that we had started early in the summer. And that one's going to be helping you guys prepare for interviews and all the kind of nuances that are going to come after you submit your application and you kind of get ready to go on the interview trail, and all the important information that you should consider when preparing for that part of the cycle. And as always, if you want to keep up with all the information that we're presenting for you guys, just follow us on our Instagram, our YouTube, and our email as well if you have any questions. And yeah, stay tuned.